Safety Adrian Maddox, he was going to Florida, but now he is on his way to Georgia. And this is a guy who has played at multiple other programs. Alabama State started his career there in Montgomery, a place I'm very familiar with. Temple, UAB back there in the state of Alabama. And now headed to the big show at Georgia and the SEC. This is a big safety with some speed, 6'3", 200 pounds, originally from Conyers, Georgia, and had a big year last year for UAB with 44 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 7 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and a pick 6 that was a 99-yard pick 6 against Rice. So you're getting a guy who's played a lot of football, seems to have the physical traits here, and was wanted by multiple SEC schools as he makes the switch from Florida to Georgia.
Yeah, this is a huge win, in my view, for the Georgia Bulldogs. 6'3", 200 from Conyers, Georgia, Atlanta area. Watching him just film-wise, he plays really, really fast. I mean, he sees what he sees, and then he attacks. He can strike. He throws around his body. He has nice twitch to him for a longer guy. He can pick up speed in a hurry. And, he's bounced around a little bit. Obviously, this is his first tenure at the highest levels, at the Power 4 level. I think about the Florida-Georgia battle here. Of course, 2 classic rivals. Both of them really prioritize Zechariah Poyser, the Jacksonville State safety, number 2 safety in the portal, who ended up going to Miami. And they both really battled for Poyser. They both had him in for visits. He's a similar kind of player to Maddox as far as being that sort of free safety with some length that can also strike and has explosiveness to him. So they lose that. Georgia takes Jaden Harris from Miami as a safety. And, Jaden Harris did not have a great season last year. Travaris Robinson, the coach of the safeties coach for the Georgia Bulldogs, recruited Jaden Harris out of high school. We did a video on him yesterday. They obviously felt that he could contribute either in special teams or just maybe a different role or different utilization than he had in Miami, where he struggled this past year. But Harris alone is not going to replace a Malachi Starks by any means. Now, you have KJ Bolden, probably the best returning safety along with Caleb Downs in the country, but this is Georgia. You need more. So someone like this, I think, gets you much closer to your standard than a Jaden Harris. And Jaden Harris is able to turn around. He's going to help you. But this guy right here is a starting caliber player that you take from a team you're competing with. Florida has been down for several years, but they're going to get a lot of hype this year. A lot of people might put him above Georgia, believe it or not, in these preseason rankings when you see a DJ Lagway and some of the returning guys they have. So this win for Georgia in recruiting is almost like a classic Florida-Georgia win, as opposed to the past few years where Georgia's been on the absolute top and Florida's been struggling. I know those programs are much closer today than they have been in many, many years. So a win like this is double meaningful.
Yeah, and he's the 5th player now that Georgia's added in the portal. The Branch brothers, him, Noah Thomas at wide receiver as well, that we speculated yesterday was on its way to happening, and that was a big addition for their receiver room as well. But defensively, they seem to need a lot of help on that side as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is Georgia. They're built on defense, and we talked about it earlier in the show, but part of the problem for Georgia, when they dominated look, they're still a top program, obviously, but when they were truly dominant the past few years, you were able to stack 5-star after 5-star after 5-star and let them sit on the bench. When it's their turn, they're ready to go. Now with the portal becoming what it is, NIL becoming what it is, teams are rating Georgia for their depth, right? We just saw Wilson, the defensive end, enter the portal, likely on his way to Ohio State, who is really in a position to start and make an impact for Georgia as they lose their 2 first-round edge rushers. So that kind of thing is depleting Georgia's depth and ability to just roll out talent. So they're coming closer to earth. They got to be smart. They got to hit on evals, and they themselves have to go in the portal and get guys that otherwise would have come from their recruiting class. So they're getting with the times, and I think this is a player that if you're Florida, you didn't have great defensive backs last year, and this is a position you've identified as a major need. Your safety position was a struggle probably for the past few years. So I think this is not only a big win for Georgia, but a big loss for Florida after you've lost on Zechariah Poyser. I'm very curious to see who they target next to safety, because that is a critical need, I think, for the Gators going forward.